The number 23 ranked team in Division III, looking to stay at second place in the Matcha Silver Central Conference, taking on a team looking for their first conference win of the year. It's Kansas, it's Nebraska, and we're live. Hello, good evening to you all from the John Breslow Hockey Center. I'm Gabe Daniel, joined alongside Mike Hoblick, where Kansas comes into this one 10-6-0 on the year, where the Nebraska Cornhuskers not having the best year in terms of their pass, as they come in at 5-14-3-2. The starting lineups for the Kansas Jayhawks back at the blue line, it'll be none other than Zach Roberts and Blake Hearn. Up front, it'll be Caleb Dusso, Tyler Nelson, and then Zach Zadakis making the climb up to that first line. And then starting in goal, of course, it'll be number 30, Mitch Miles, playing in his 50th career game, a guy that has been here since his freshman year. However, they didn't play his freshman year, but he's been one of the backbones for this club, and a special congratulations to Cole Walsh playing in his 50th game as well. And again, the starters for Kansas, it'll be Nelson, Dusso, and Zadakis. Back at the blue line, it'll be Roberts and Hearn. And then in goal, it'll be Miles.
Mitch Miles, the backbone of this team, Gabe. See how he performs his 50th career game? He had success in his first two games against Nebraska this year, allowing a total of 5 goals through 2 games, and Kansas with the 2 W's. See if they can continue the conference play here. They need to stay second to get into the MACA Conference Tournament. We shall see what happens here tonight. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and then the starters for the Huskers, it'll be number 2, Zach Biankowski, and number 15, Caden Jacobsma at defense. And then up front, it'll be number 5, Ben McGinnis at left wing. Bobby Heiberg, number 27, will be at center. And then at right wing, it'll be number 8, Jack Dugan. And again, it is going to be first responders night here in Lincoln, as they're getting honored right now. And to those back home watching, thank you. If you are a first responder, we want to send out that honor to you guys as well, as we're starting to get set here again. It's going to be the first game of 2024 for the Kansas Jayhawks. They have not played since November, so that's going to be one of the keys to the game, is just knocking that rust off. And this Friday game means a lot because it's going to be the one that counts towards the conference tournament. And essentially it just boils down to win and you're in for the conference tournament.
Win these last 2 weekends, Gabe, going to be in the conference tournament.
And then,
really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And that conference tournament would be the weekend of February 9th and 10th. Assuming that Kansas makes it, we will travel to that as well to set up and broadcast.
First responders getting the recognition that they deserve. And quite frankly, they don't get very often as much as they should.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, taking a look at this Nebraska Cornhusker lineup, it reminds me a lot of sort of the past Jayhawk teams we've seen the last couple of seasons. They got a lot of young guys trying to mesh in with the older group. However, Nebraska, they've been skating, they've been playing in games to start off the year. In fact, they're coming off of a really tough skid up north against number 4 Hope and then number 1 Grand Valley State. So they're going to come in ready and wanting to take on Kansas. And I mean, getting pumped by those highly ranked teams isn't something to neglect on as we step aside here for the anthem. As we take a look at the Huskers again, they are led in scoring by number 9, Nathan Weber, a junior forward out of Gilbert's, Illinois. He has 7 goals, 14 assists for 21 points of the year. Right behind him is number 69, Evan Datina, a senior forward from Gurnee, Illinois. He has 14 goals, 6 assists for 20 points on the year. And then for Kansas, again, it's just none other than number 16, Tyler Nelson. He had a lot of success before he had transferred over from Waldorf University. That's over in Iowa. But on the year, Nelson has 17 goals, 20 assists for 37 points. However, on the career, he has 43 goals and 69 assists overall. And then right behind him, of course, is going to be Caleb Dusso, the team captain. Played junior hockey with Tyler Nelson for the Milwaukee Power. Dusso with 7 goals, 15 assists for 22 points on the year. As the anthem is done, both teams getting lined up here for the opening draw.
One thing before we start, Gabe, I do want to say the 2 top scorers for Nebraska are on the second line, so watch that. Whenever they get a line change, might see some high-flying offense there.
So Heiberg to take the draw against Nelson. As it is won over to Zadakis, we are underway before the Huskers quickly get it back, and then Zadakis almost losing his stick there. A great stick lift there by Heiberg. And then the Jayhawks struggling to get it out. McGinnis trying to find Heiberg on the back door there. It's going to be tipped out of the zone there by Dusso, and then quickly back at center ice. It'll be Bienkowski as that one goes up and out of play.
Fast stoppage, 21 seconds in.
And, you know, that's something that Andy had talked about here in the pregame show with Lindsay, is just Nebraska is going to be ready. They want to avenge that loss to number 1 Grand Valley State, as that was their most recent game that took place last weekend.
Yeah, they're a very physical team, Gabe. We talked about how the 3 top leaders in penalty minutes in the MACA Silver Central Conference are all on Nebraska. Number 1, Walter Brandt, not playing tonight. He's had 109 penalty minutes, so the Kansas power play is going to have to take advantage whenever they can.
There was a great job there by Bienkowski holding the line, an ill-advised pass, but luckily Tyler Nelson right there to strip it away, and he's just going to lead the charge down center. Nelson's going to swing over to the left. He gets hauled down. It's going to be wrapped around. Breyer holding it in with the backhand. Had a little too much bounce on it, but he's going to force it to the corner. Breyer trying to backhand pass there, broken up, and the Huskers trying to get it out as Bienkowski played it to center as he was falling down. Walsh will chip it back in. That finishes the line change for the Jayhawks. As it's going to be passed up over to number 84.
That last possession, great job by Breyer getting that puck in the zone. Getting a little pressure on the goalie, Alex Cope, here early.
So it's going to be a headman pass intended for Sidden. Sidden stops right about the hash marks for getting a pass back from Nessa. And Sidden's a nice hit back behind the net on the team captain for Nebraska, Sean Rogers. Now Feeney trying to backhand it around the boards. It's going to ride its way over to Rogers, who tries to get it out. It's going to be tipped up there by number 46, Stephen Adamski. And then unable to connect on the backdoor pass was Jake Quevedo. So it's sent out. Rogers, bank pass up over to McCray. McCray with a collision there against Breyer. It's just going to be Siddons. Wrapping it up over to Nessa. Nessa trying to find Feeney. It goes to the other side, and it's going to be skated in by Pate. It'll go back behind the net, and Miles will leave it for Walsh.
All right, a very physical game. We see multiple hits come from both sides. It's going to continue for the whole entire game, especially early.
Medina there trying to backhand it out of the zone, but it's going to be Datina holding it in. A nice save there by Miles off the rebound. Unable to poke it home was Dugan. But it's going to be held in there by Weber. Weber pinned against the boards there. It's going to be lofted up, trying to find Gerber. Couldn't quite get it to the right side of the ice. And it'll be Pate trying to chip it back in. So on the puck for Kansas is Cole Walsh, wrapped around over to Medina. As it's going to be up over to Fantoni. Fantoni waiting, shooting, and he scores!
What a shot!
First one of the new year goes to Michael Fantoni.
Just sniped it into the corner. I don't think Kof was ready for that at all. He was expecting a pass there and just got a straight shot right there.
So great
start.
Great patience. He was just waiting for an open shot opportunity. It looked like he was going to try to get a pass to Gerber. Instead, he tried to shoot it, and it pays off. And Kansas has a 1-0 lead with 17:06 left to go. As it's cranked into the corner by Meade. Carney on it to pick it up, and it's going to be Davis trying to wrap it around. Davis got it over to Bierenstraw.
Nice hit.
And then it's up over to Clover. Now Clover with speed on the left side. Shooting one right to the glove of Miles. And held on for an easy whistle.
Good job by the Kansas defense there. As we saw the 2-on-2 going towards the Nebraska side, ended it with a goal. Good job by the Kansas defense there. Let Miles get an easy glove save.
So the face-off won back over to Bullard, wearing number 6 tonight. The new addition playing hockey for St. Paul Highland Park.
One of the couple additions to this Kansas Jayhawks hockey club.
So it looked like right off the face-off, it went up and out of play. So we'll try that again. This time the face-off won by Nebraska. Shot tipped up over the net and into the corner. Roberts trying to poke it up. Do so, it was able to get it out of the zone, so Nebraska has to get back on side. Bullard over to Roberts. Roberts trying to get it up, but he's pressured heavily there by Heiberg, and it's going to be chopped back into the far corner. And then turning on the Jets to pick it up, it's going to be Bullard. Bullard, a nice backhand around the corner, finds it to Roberts. Do so trying to tip it up to the center. But Bienkowski got there before Nelson did.
Nebraska getting a little quick line change here.
It was a great time for a change as Bullard trying to skate it up, turned it over right at the blue line. It's going to be skated in by Quevedo. Shot right over the net. And McCray on the rebound. He's going to get pushed under the corner there by Bullard. So the Huskers setting up from the point. A shot by Bienkowski, kicked away by Miles. And the puck up over to Duso. Found it to Nelson. Nelson swings in at the left side, going under the goal line. Nelson looking for an open pass. Instead, he'll caress it, getting it over to Schubert. Finds it to Zadakis, unable to connect with Duso, but Nelson picked it up right there. Shooting one and a save made by Kopp.
Nice little possession there for the Jayhawks. Had a man open right in front of Kopp, but went right to Zadakis. Fired a shot. Keep getting pressure on Kopp here. Maybe he'll surrender a few more goals like that first one. Just fire it right at the net.
So another face-off win by the Huskers. That was a great job by Evan Datina to show some urgency and just get right there and take it away as it was a tie-up. This is going to be Nessa now. Started out as a defenseman, gets it across over to Hearn. His shot blocked up front. Hearn trying it again off the rebound. It's still loose. And a stoppage here and a little bit of pushing and shoving, but it won't amount to much.
I will say, Gabe, if you see one like that first goal we saw, just fired it right at the net on the 2-on-2. Once the team does that, it creates confidence for them that they can just fire any shot at the net, maybe get a weird bounce, or maybe just it'll go in. You never know.
So the face-off won by Kansas. A shot unable to get to the rebound in time was Nessa.
Perfect redirect opportunity there.
So Siddons holding it in. A saucer pass over to Feeney. Feeney shooting, kicked away by Kopp. So another rebound that was just luckily in favor of the Huskers. A nice break up there by Hearn. Got it over to Schubert, and it's sent out of the zone. I know this game probably means a lot to the defenseman for Kansas wearing number 17, as this is his hometown.
A little bit of homecoming here. Extra added motivation.
So Feeney trying to get up, but he's just right on top of the puck, and he was able to at least get it away. Back onto his feet now. And it's number 8, Jack Dugan, able to chip it out of the zone. Now a bank pass over for Gerber. He's going to fly down on the right side. Cuts around one man moving in. Tried an odd shot right to the glove of Kopp. And a stoppage here with 14:10 left to go. Kansas still in the lead, 1-0.
See if we can get a couple more shots right off the faceoff here. Just fire him at the net. Body's going to be in front of the goalie's eyes. Koff might not be able to see it. See if anything can go in here. Take another multiple goal lead this early would be crucial.
So Bienkowski won the face-off, was able to get it out of the zone, and it's going to be skated down by Bienkowski now. Pressured off the puck there by Breyer and Medina. Breaking up that play was Fantoni, and it's going to be Gerber picking up a puck on the left wing. thought about taking a shot, able to dance around one man, got the puck over to Fantoni, shooting it, Gerber, he scores! Number 14, Jack Gerber, makes it 2-0 Jayhawks.
Just talking about it, gave the redirect once again. That's 2 goals in the first 7 minutes here for Cove.
And that's exactly
a little down here.
Exactly the start that Kansas would want here, especially from this line.
Absolutely. Perfect. He was in the perfect position, just a circumstance of right place, right time. Fired into the top right corner of the net, right by Cope.
So now fighting for the puck in the corners, Medina, he gets knocked down. He got it away at least. But it's going to be number 84 for the Huskers, skating it down on the right side, dumping it in. This is going to be a battle back behind the net now. It's going to be freed up over to Breyer through center ice. He's able to at least get it into the zone, and he's going to take a late hit there from number 5, Ben McGinnis.
McGinnis with a nice little stick check right there.
There's a big hit there by Kyle Mead along the glass as the puck's sent out. And it looks like racing after it's going to be Barker as he's applying the pressure down in the Husker zone. Pate sending it back the other way. Over to Bonthias. Bonthias lost control. Held in by Roberts, shooting it from the point. Barker poking at the rebound. But Kopp will stand tall.
We were talking about physical earlier in this game. Both teams finishing every single hit. I expect that to continue here. Okay, we're not even 8 minutes into the game, and this has already been a fun one.
Absolutely, and again, the implications for this one mean a lot, especially to Kansas looking to hang on to that clinching spot for the Matcha Conference Tournament. As it's Quevedo for the Huskers, trying to wrap it around. This is going to be held in there by Van Heerden, who's going to try to chop it in. Able to shake off a hit right in front of the Nebraska bench, feigning on the pass there. And the Huskers will able to get it out. Quevedo up on the right side. He's going to shoot it right over to Miles, and he's going to hang on. So 12:15 to go with this stoppage. Kansas now in the lead, 2-0. Goals coming from Fantoni and Gerber. So it's that third line for Kansas, getting them that early start.
That's what you want to see, too. You want to see the third, fourth lines getting some action here. Of course, first, like you just mentioned, the third line with both goals. Also gives the first line some confidence that they could easily go down and score, too.
So the face-off, Juan over to the Jayhawks as it was Dusso. He's able to lead the puck for Nelson. He's got Zadakis with him. Nelson, shoots! He scores! A beautiful goal by Tyler Nelson, and it is 3-0 Jayhawks, just like that.
Tyler Nelson is a scoring machine. We saw one of the Nebraska defensemen trip almost right in front of us, and that caused the 2-on-1 breakaway. Great job taking advantage of that. And wow, 3-0 lead already. Exactly what they needed.
So looks like Alex Koff is done for the night. Liam Scott will go in to replace him just about 7 minutes, 56 seconds into this one.
Scott a little bit bigger than Cope. Appeared in 4 games this season.
As it's going to be Datina in the slot, working in, shoots, trying to find someone at the back door. It's going to be sent away. Now Bienkowski a drive and a glove save by Miles with 11:43 left to go.
That's the guy that the Cornhuskers want with the puck in front of the net. Datina, one of the leading scorers on this Cornhusker team, excuse me. 14 goals on the team. He leads them. 20 points overall.
So the face-off won by Nebraska. Bienkowski a drive from the point, blocked up front by Roberts, and it's a headman pass up to Zadakis, and then Nelson turns on the Jets and picks it right back up. Nelson on the right side, he's going to head to the corner before he shrugged off the puck, but Zadakis jumping right in there to help him get it back. This battle along the boards. Weber goes in to help out the Huskers, but Dusso's going to try to free it up. Almost got it to the tape of Nelson, but he's going to catch Anel Levi's pass, trying to throw it on net. Nelson with it still. In the corner now, making a move around one man, and it's quickly going to be taken away by Dugan, who got it to Datina. Datina slowly on the left side of the ice. Dipsy doodle move through the legs there, and a backhand shot, missing the net, held in by Weber.
It was a nice little move by Tatina. He almost got to Miles right over his right shoulder, but Miles was there, went over the net anyway.
Chopped out of the zone by Duso, right over to Rogers, and both teams will get a change. As it's going to be Roberts picking it up for Kansas. Back behind his own net, cross ice over to Schubert. Schubert on the right side, poked off the puck there by Heiberg. So it goes right over to Roberts. Roberts tried to get a headman pass up over to Siddons. Had a little too much sauce on that one. And it'll be Roberts again. Bank pass up to Feeney. Feeney connected over to Siddons. And it's going to be number 84 for the Huskers, dumping it in. Heiberg pressured off the puck by Breyer, and Siddons trying to use his body against the boards to get it out. And it's going to be right over to Breyer again, a cross-ice attempt for Walsh. Huskers dumping it back in. Miles to slow it down. And Breyer to Siddons. Siddons a nice move as he tries to get it out of the zone. Pressured back into the corner. He'll use it off the boards. And then Nessa unable to get it out as he collides there with McGinnis. And then Siddons lost control, and he's finally able to squeak it out of the zone. And Feeney catches a pass in the slot. A backhand pass over to Siddons. Siddons to Nessa, unable to connect there. Almost made it 4-0. 9.5 minutes left to go in this one. It's going to be Breyer. Drives from the point. Shoots. He scores!
Slap shot from almost at the blue line, Gabe. Wow.
Travis Breyer cranks that one. It might have been tipped up front, but either way, it is 4-0.
Tough start for Liam Scott there. You can't really do much about that. When there's that many bodies and sticks in front of the net, you don't really know where that puck is going to be tipped toward. That's just a tough one to defend there. Great shot, though.
So just 9:29 left to go. 4-0 our score from 4 different goal scorers. Just shows you how deep this Kansas team has become.
Looks like that pond hockey is paying off a little bit here in the start.
Quevedo feigning on the shot. McRae with the drop pass, but it was kicked into the corner by Miles. And it's going to be a collision in the corner. Fantoni trying to poke the puck loose, but McRae had to get back up. Now Walsh able to poke it away, but it's going to go right to Biankowski, who tipped it over to Bierenstraw. But it's going to be Travis Breyer with it now. Breyer with a little bit of a battle back behind the net, and it looks like both of them are going to go.
We have a 4-on-4 here. First team time to see special teams for both sides, actually.
So no hesitation by the referee to call this one. It's going to be Quevedo and Breyer heading off for roughing.
Looked like they were at first battling because I believe they both thought the puck was there, and then they both just started pushing and shoving.
So it will be 4-on-4. Just wanted to wait to see the signal from the referee, just because, you know, sometimes it is offsetting and it would stay 5-on-5, but that's not the case for this one. So a little bit of a delay. The scorers table was trying to get the penalties on. Either way, so right off the draw, we get another stoppage. It just went out of play.
The music is continuing to play. I think it stopped for a solid 2 seconds in total so far.
So 8:54 left to go here in period number 1, about 1:59 now, due to the 1 second that was chopped off from the puck going out of play. So the face-off won by the Jayhawks over to Hearn, who finds it to Roberts. For the forwards, it'll be Duso and Nelson. So Roberts gets it over to Nelson. He had a backtrack for it a little bit, and an ill-advised pass goes back under the goal line. So Roberts, from behind his own net, will get the headman pass up over to Hearn, who finds it to Nelson. And Nelson will skate things in for the Jayhawks. He's going to stop right at the slot. Screened by Duso, trying to poke it loose. And unfortunately, the Jayhawks unable to capitalize on that rebound, as it'll be number 10, Nick Bonthea, sending it out.
Nebraska defensemen were ready for that redirect.
So Roberts across to Hearn. Hearn's going to walk it in, back over to Duso. Nice saucer pass up front, as it's going to be thrown to the corner. So Biankowski able to take it away for the Huskers. Is this going to be a saucer pass up over to Caden Davis? Shot right to the glove of Miles, and he'll hang on.
Miles on point to start this game. Has had about around 5 shots at him, all glove saves and body saves so far. Hasn't really given a good opportunity for Nebraska to get a redirect either. He's stopping them. Stopping it dead.
So 1:06 left to go on 4-on-4 as that face-off is won by Nebraska, and they'll try to get things set back up. As it's going to be over to Bienkowski. But it's quickly taken out by Siddons, and he's going to turn on the Jets. A cross-ice pass to Feeney. Feeney spinning around, had it at his feet, and he's going to throw it to the corner, and he'll take a tumble into the boards. So just like you said, Nebraska finishing their checks as it's Weber, a cross-ice pass, connects to Datina. Datina shoots, just missing the net there. It'll ride the boards around, coming all the way back, and Bienkowski picks it up for Nebraska.
Especially being now 4 goals, they're going to be a little more physical now as they're trying to get some retaliations to get on the power play here. Kansas has to stay disciplined.
So a shot on net, Miles will hang on again. So as the shots start to pile up, Miles still standing tall. 7:13 left to go, period number 1.
Miles risking nothing there, just freezing the puck dead. It's always those weird goals that just escape. If the puck escapes the glove, kicks off a pad weird, and then they end up in the back of the net, and they do not want that right now. They want no weird momentum if you're Kansas here.
So 4-0 our score, about 18 seconds left to go on 4-on-4 hockey until Breyer and Quevedo are out of the box. So it's going to be Gerber passing it across over to Bullard. He had a nice look there, but a defender for the Huskers just got right in front of that pass. So Bullard up on the left side, shoots it, tipped by the glove of number 33, Liam Scott. And the Jayhawks have to regroup.
5-on-5 again, Gabe.
So Fantoni tipped it into the zone. It's going to be Rogers, a nice pass, but it was knocked down out of the air by Medina. Right over to Bullard, shoots from the point, tipped up front, not on net. So in the corner, it's going to be Medina picking it up. Medina tried to get a saucer pass as he fell down, but the Huskers send it out. Bullard dumps it right back in, and he'll head to the bench for a change.
Couple fresh bodies on the ice for Kansas now.
So it's going to be a cross-ice pass over to McCray. He dumps it in. Picked up into the corner by Schubert. Now Schubert, he's going to walk it up on the left side. Makes a move around one man, trying to tip it in. And then he was able to at least kick the puck over to Gerber, but he couldn't connect on the shot there. So it's sent out of the zone, picked right back up by Fantoni. And then Schubert's going to move it in. So up on the left side, it'll be number 5, Ben McGinnis. Throws it around, Pate picking up the rebound. Now McGinnis under the goal line, trying to pass it up front. Medina got his stick on it, and he'll curl around his own net before getting a backhand pass over to Blake Hearn, who will look to get things out of the zone. Headman up to Gerber, tipped back in, but the Huskers have to get back on side, so that allows a line change for Kansas as Zadakis tipped it up. Couldn't quite get it to Gerber, and it's going to be Jacobsma with it now.
On that last possession for Lincoln there, Gregory Pate was wide open on Mitch Miles' left side. The pass was a little too far ahead, though.
So Duso chipping it over to Zadakis. Zadakis battling to keep it in, and it's going to be Nelson with it now. Nelson to Roberts. Roberts trying to find Zadakis, but it's poked away, and Jacobsma will try to get it out. So number 84 for the Huskers with it. Over to Jacobsma. His headman pass intended for Heiberg. Unable to connect there. So it's going to be Hearn. Up over to Duso. Tipped it into the zone, but Bienkowski with it now. As it's a headman pass for Bierenstraw. Goes back into the corner where Roberts will play it over to Zadakis. Zadakis try to find Duso, but it's taken away by Caden Davis as Nebraska will dump it in. It's going to be picked up there, sent back over to Roberts. So a lot of back and forth regarding the possession there. The shot was tipped up front. Davis with it again, trying to pass it up over to Bierenstraw. And Bierenstraw will backhand it in over to Davis, but couldn't connect on the pass there. So Roberts will find it to Zadakis. Zadakis trying to connect to Nelson. And there was a big hit there, and you could just hear the reaction from the crowd.
Zadakis wasn't very happy about that either. Nebraska getting a lot of good opportunities now, just haven't been able to capitalize yet. Early on, Kansas was dominating. That's shots on goal, evening out a little bit here.
So Nelson able to button hook around. He was able to chip the puck back in as well. But the Huskers get it right back, sent it out, intended it for Datina, but it goes right over to Walsh, who finds it to do so. Dumps it in, and that'll finish the line change for Kansas. So the pass that was intended for Dugan goes right over to Breyer, and he's just going to backhand that one in and make him chase after it.
Tiring out the Nebraska defenders here.
So it's going to be Weber on the right side. Through traffic to Datina, unable to find an answer there. The puck freed up over to Weber. Weber trying to drop it back. Still has it. Shoots one, and Miles hanging on. And a stoppage with 3:01 left to go. 4-0, still our score.
Miles saw that shot all the way to his body. Another great job of just freezing the puck, not letting any unlucky bounces happen. Kansas wants to allow any sort of goal here. They want to allow one that's earned. They don't want to allow some sloppy goal. Because those are always the ones that start the momentum and they start the goal runs.
So right off the draw, Kansas trying to chip it out of the zone, but it's going to be held in there by number 17, Zach Brown. As it's Adomsky with it. He's wrapped around over to Nessa. Nessa trying to make a move around Pate. But it's going to be up front, shot, blocked up front, and a saucer pass over to Nessa. Couldn't quite get full control of it, so it's sent back the other way. But it's going to be Schubert trying to battle right along the blue line. And it was finally poked away there by Bullard. A nice saucer pass over to Siddons. Siddons up on the right side. He's going to drop it for Feeney. Shooting tipped up front, and great save there made by Scott.
It was a much-needed save there for the Cornhuskers. Did not want to go down 5-0 there. It was a great play by all the Kansas players there. All in front of the net, just weaving, creating open opportunities.
And that was just great passing. You saw Siddons find it over to Feeney, and then Feeney crashing the net, and he was able to see Nessa, who was wide open, as Siddons tried to make a nice toe drag move there, but is pressured off the puck there by Dugan. As it goes over to Weber. Weber finds it to Datina. Datina up on the right side. Datina curling around the net now.
Dangerous second line out there for the Cornhuskers right now.
As it's going to be Medina up to Gerber, and a little bit of a late shot.
Just a little bit offsides there for the Jayhawks. They had a great opportunity, though, if he stayed onside.
Absolutely. So our stoppage this time with 1:28 left to go, and it seems like it's been nothing but Kansas so far, especially with all the, not necessarily the number of chances, but the quality of them.
Kansas is just getting quality chances here, and they're capitalizing on them. Nebraska's had a couple of good chances, just haven't been able to find the back of the net or find the open passes. They've had them. They just haven't been able to get them.
So chopped into the zone by Datina. Hearn wrapping it around the boards up over to Medina. Medina now walking close to the goal line before he skates it up. He'll pass it over to Fantoni. And it was Fantoni who opened up the scoring for the Jayhawks. Now it's going to be over to Van Heerden. Shoots off the rebound, trying to tip it in, and they score! Number 9, Lance Medina, making it 5-0. So another goal from that third line.
I mean, it looked like they had that. Nebraska off of Scott's pads. It looked like they got the puck out of there, but Medina finishes it. I believe it was the defenseman, actually, Sean Rogers, who looked like he gave him a little cross-check to the back, stopped the opportunity for Medina to put that puck in, and he still found a way to do it. I thought when the ref put his hand up, I thought for sure the penalty was called. That was my first instinct, and said the puck goes in. That's what you want anyway.
So it's going to be Juan back over to Breyer, finding it up over to Zadakis, who was able to just lift it into the zone with one hand. And then the Huskers getting it back out as it's Rogers across over to Bonthias. Bonthias trying to find an open man, but it's going to go all the way back down. Miles will play it aside for Roberts. And Roberts wraps it around over to Zadakis. Zadakis, a backhand pass, unable to get onto the tape of Nelson, and it's going to be a fan pass there. Scott turned it over, and a nice backhand shot by Tyler Nelson. It is 6-0.
Just another mistake there by the Cornhuskers. I mean, if you're the Nebraska coaches right now, what are you telling you got to tell your team, like, we have the opportunities. You have to stop making mental errors. They've played way more recently than the Jayhawks have, but the Jayhawks come out way just looks like way more in sync and stuff.
And I knew that this was going to be a really important game, especially wanting to bounce back from that Saturday game against Washington University at St. Louis, where they had lost 6-0 that Saturday game, and it looks like they've all but forgotten about that.
They've matched that total here in the first period.
So it's going to be back over to Breyer, wrapping it around the boards, trying to find it over to do so, and it's going to be sent out of the zone. It's going to be a foot race for the puck, and it's going to be Tyler Nelson winning that race. Nelson around the net, poke to the corner, and he's going to try a backhand pass there.
There's nobody on this ice faster than Tyler Nelson. He just uses that to his advantage every single time he has the puck.
And that'll end things here for that first period. It'll be Kansas 6, Nebraska 0. A first period that Kansas has not seen in quite some time. Again, Gabe Daniel alongside Mike Hoblick. We're going to step aside for a little bit, and then we'll have an intermission interview here shortly. And thank you for that, Lindsey, Gabe, Daniel, and Mike Hoblick back here for the second period. It was Kansas just coming out on fire as they head back out onto the ice here soon with a 6-0 lead. And, man, let's talk about that third line for the Jayhawks. It was Michael Fantoni, Jack Gerber, and Lance Medina all getting onto the board. Tyler Nelson had 2 himself, and then that rocket from Travis Breyer. As we look to see what goaltending decision Nebraska is going to stick with, and it's looking like it'll still be Liam Scott in goal.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Cove allowing 3 goals on probably 5 shots, maybe even less. Sticking with Scott here throughout this game. See if Nebraska can even get a couple goals, a couple shots on net. They need to find some momentum, if anything. They've had absolutely 0 this entire game so far. Kansas just came out on fire. And, honestly, when if we're talking about off time on the ice, Kansas hadn't played since November 11th. That first weekend of the year when they faced Dordt, came out with a 6-2 win, and Dort's top of the division now. So maybe the off time for Kansas is secretly a really good thing, and they just come out motivated, and especially since they need to keep that number 2 division spot. We'll see how. I bet you they're going to come out the same amount of energy. Coach is telling them not to let up at all, because once you let up a little bit, it'll start going downhill.
Exactly, and I mean, no lead is safe, especially in this building. It brings me back to my first year of when I finally got to call games, because, the freshman year didn't have a season, but sophomore year, I remember Kansas ended up winning 9-7. They had about 7 skaters, and it was a comeback win. So, again, you can't really let up or anything in that regard, especially, again, you can see some really crazy things with this sport especially, but that was kind of the key, is just don't let up, keep it going. And they were really clicking again with that third line. So it's going to be something special. And then as the period progressed, you saw that second line really start to look a little bit more comfortable. Nessa probably not as accustomed to playing up at forward. However, he was doing really well.
If I'm Nessa too, I'm very happy that the team is up 6-0. He's just getting a lot of ice time now in his new position, getting more comfortable as the minute goes by, as the period even goes on.
So it's going to start out back at defense. It'll be Roberts and Schubert now, as there's a shot right on the short side there. Turned aside by Miles. Roberts using the body there to free up the puck. Gets it over to Schubert. And the Jayhawks will look to get it out of the zone. A cross-ice pass goes right over to Nelson, trying to get it up over to Dusso. Unable to kick it right to his skate. And the Huskers dump it in. Picked up by Roberts under the goal line. He'll stop and he'll choose to bank it off the glass up over to Zadakis. Zadakis trying to play it for Nelson, and it's going to be dumped in the other way.
Looks like the Cornhuskers start off with their second line. Datana and Weber were both in. Usually play the second line. Looks like that's what they're starting with, trying to get some offensive firepower here to begin this period.
So Nelson pressured off the puck there in the corner, and it's going to be skated out by the Huskers, as it's going to be Davis turning on the Jets. Flying down on the left side, trying to make a move around Zadakis, but that forces it to the corner where it's going to be Breyer picking it up. Breyer got it to Hearn. Hearn unable to find it to Zadakis, and it's going to go all the way back, and enough for an icing with 18:40 left to go.
If I'm the Nebraska coach, Reed Fuller, I'm pleased with the start of this period. They came out firing, got maybe a couple shots on Miles immediately, and the puck is staying in Kansas' zone, which is where they need to be. See if the Kansas defense can maybe get the puck out, keep it and neutralize, or get it into the Nebraska zone here.
So off the draw, it's going to be back over to Hearn, trying to get it away. It's going to be stripped by number 84 for the Huskers, passing it back over to Zach Brown at the point, blocked up front, and it's going to be Nelson for the Jayhawks. Makes a nice toe drag move there around Heiberg. Now Heiberg trying to chase after Nelson, who threw on a shot, and Scott making the save there with 18:19 left to go.
Nelson once again proving that he's the fastest skater out there. Nice little move too in center ice.
So that second line coming out onto the ice for Kansas now. It's going to be Siddons at center with Nessa and Feeney at his wing. As it's wrapped around number 84, picking it up for the Huskers. Chopped it out of the zone. It's going to go right back over to Walsh. He's just going to backhand it up. It's going to be held in by McGinnis. McGinnis shoots, blocked up front by Walsh. And picking up the rebound was McGinnis. Got it to Heiberg. A nice block there by Walsh again.
Walsh with a couple blocks there, stopping the Nebraska shots and good opportunities there. Nebraska had a 2-on-1 advantage there. Just a great job.
Walsh, one of the shorter guys on the team, but man, the size of the heart, and that kid is phenomenal. Always willing to lay his body on the line.
Those are the kind of guys you want on your hockey team because you're going to have speed, you're going to have versatility no matter what, but you want the guys who just play with their heart out no matter the size.
As Rogers able to strip the puck away from Siddons, kept in by the Jayhawks, but it's finally going to get out as it's going to be McGinnis skating it up. He's going to backhand it into the zone. It's going to go right over to Miles, and he'll choose to go with the safer option and get a whistle.
Smart play there by Miles as Cavito was racing in there. Once again, just playing the safe option. You don't want to play anything risky like we talked about. No sloppy goals, no sloppy moments.
17:20 left in period number 2, a 6-0 lead for Kansas. 2 goals coming from Tyler Nelson, and the other 3 from that third line that's on the ice right now. Is this going to be Gerber trying to move it into the zone, but he's just poked right there by Adamski. Is this going to be Rogers backhanding it around? Back over to Adamski. Held in by Quevedo. Gerber throwing it back behind the net. It'll be picked up there by Bonthias.
Nice hit by Roberts there on the blue line.
So McCray cross to Quevedo. Quevedo shoots, blocked up front there by Zach Roberts. It's going to be banked off the boards, up over to Fantoni. Now Fantoni up on the left side. He's going to throw it to the corner and race after it. Fantoni still with it, pressured into the corner, now gets knocked down. On top of the puck as the Huskers able to get it away, and then Bullard unable to hang on to it at the line as it just bounced up onto the glass. So Kansas has to get back on side.
Get a couple fresh bodies out there too for Kansas. A couple of them retired.
So Biankowski on the left side, poked away by Schubert. The puck bounces its way over to Miles, and then Bullard trying to pass it back behind the net.
Dangerously close to a holding penalty there. Schubert let him go just in time. Lost his stick, but also just went and hit him on the boards too. It was a great all-out effort play. You lose your stick, usually you have to find a way, maybe kick the puck or just hit somebody, and that's exactly what Schubert did.
He goes right over to the ref and just sort of taps his head and be like, hey, like, you got to keep an eye on that. In which that physicality is going to start to ramp up, you know, because a lot of it's going to start to be just from frustration.
And these are the times I mentioned in the first period too. You're gonna see Nebraska defenders do stuff like that, or Nebraska players in general. You're gonna see them do stuff like that and try to get the retaliation penalties, because those are the ones that just mental penalties are the ones that will kill you in any sport.
Yeah, exactly. It's always going to be the one who retaliates who gets called. A turnover up front. Weber shooting one, unable to get on net as that one was just airmailed, and then Kansas will dump it all the way back. It's going to hit the pad of Scott, so no icing.
That's the one guy you do not want open in front of the net there. If you're the Jayhawks, Nathan Weber, one of the most dangerous players on this team.
And then into the uprights it goes. Griffin Barker tried a shot there, hit a stick up front, so we get a stoppage with 15:34 left to go.
I believe Liam Scott took a stick to the neck there, took something to the neck. He's okay, he just came a little shaken up there after that.
The freshman goaltender from Roseville, Minnesota, as this will be his 5th appearance on the season.
One of the best states for hockey in the entire country.
As tied up off the faceoff, Pate will finally skate it up. And a nice play there by Walsh, using the body right at the blue line. A shot up front by Clover, hung on to by Miles.
Miles in his 50th game has shown up here in this game early. Continue to see it from the veteran goaltender, one of the backbones of this team.
Some added motivation, his senior campaign as well.
Why not, right?
As the Huskers wanted off the draw, but a big hit there back behind the net by Breyer, freed the puck up, and he'll get it across over to Nelson, and he's going to turn on the Jets. That centered from the deep slot, a shot kicked up by Scott and held on to again.
It's a nice save by Scott there, but I'm gonna compare him to Miles a little bit. Miles on that play so far this game has hung on to that. You see how Scott struggled to hang on to that on the immediate shot. And say there's a Kansas player right there for that redirect, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's been one of the biggest things from that first period was just rebound control and net front presence as well. You saw how well Kansas was doing with that.
Kansas continues to do that throughout the rest of this year. It's going to be tough to, manage those situations where you have guys right there for every redirect and every shot.
So the Huskers pitchfork that one out of the zone. It was Van Heerden trying to send it back in, but the Huskers get it back as they try to regroup here. It's going to be McGinnis catching it on the right side. He'll do a backhand pass over to number 84, shooting one. That one deflected, and a stoppage with 14:41 left to go.
Nebraska is doing a lot better job. I believe Coach probably got on him a little bit in that locker room. Also, send the message that we have the opportunities of just making those mental errors. And that's what's costing them the point, and of course the bad redirects. Bad rebounds, just unlucky. And then Kansas was playing faster in general.
And there's a big hit right at the blue line. Looked like number 2, Zach Bienkowski, got his hands up a little bit. Fortunate to get away with the one there are the Huskers.
Refs letting them play here in this game so far. We haven't only seen a couple penalties, and that was the roughings.
It's going to be a 2-on-1. Feeney shoots, and it's going to be a save made there by Scott.
Scott overall just doing a much better job this period. He's seen the puck a lot better. He's seeing those clear shots, too, from Kansas. If they get maybe get a couple screens in front of his eyes, it's going to be tough for him to stop him. It happened a couple times in the first period. Just need to keep doing that if you're the Jayhawks.
Yeah, absolutely. And short-term memory is something that's really important to have when you're a goaltender.
Absolutely.
As it's going to be Feeney back behind the net trying to center it over to Siddons. And it takes a weird bounce, and they'll go right over to Adamski, who found it to Quevedo. Quevedo poked away a little bit there by Hearn, but Quevedo getting it back, trying to backhand pass. And it's going to be a turnover there right at center ice as it was poked up over to Feeney. Now Feeney with it. He's going to try a backhand pass over to Siddons. A beautiful attempt, but unable to connect there as this could be Quevedo. Moving in, Quevedo shoots, save made by Miles, and it's thrown to the corner.
The crowd can't believe it. Miles just stood on his head once again. Fans next to me just stomping on the bleachers. They cannot believe that puck did not go in the back of the net.
So now it's going to be the Jayhawks trying to get it the other way. Siddons now backhands it into the zone. As it's going to be over to Pate, cross-ice pass. And Siddons able to at least strip the puck away. Kansas dumping it back in. As it's going to be over to Adamski. Adamski up on the left side. Walks it in from the top of the circle. Blockered up and out of play by number 30, Mitch Miles, for a stoppage with 12:59 left to go.
Miles so far this period has had a couple shots that have just gone right at him. Clear shots, nobody in front, and he's just made the saves that he's needed to with his blocker, with his pads. I mean, it's like he's all over the place, and it's so good to see for the Jayhawks.
So a face-off win by the Huskers. Shot up front, Miles on top of it. And the stoppage coming with 12:54 left to go. So 6-0 score. And man, the goalie's starting to have to work a little bit more into this one.
For the Jayhawks here, I would try to give Mitch Miles a little bit of a break, win this face-off, and get the puck into neutral ice and back into the Nebraska zone, which is what they just did. Great play, though.
Yeah, it was a great job there by Pate holding the line, and Datina with it, trying to pass it to the slot, swatted away by Roberts. Holding the line was Brown. He threw it in, but it hit a man up front, and it's going to be Roberts. A headman pass finds Gerber all alone on the breakaway, moving in, shoots, he scores! Number 14, Jack Gerber, finding the back of the net for his second of the game, which would be his 7th goal on the season.
Just found the guy that nobody had an eye on. Sometimes in hockey, there's just going to be that one guy that's going to be standing by himself, and that's the guy who's going to end up putting the puck in the back of the net. Unfortunate for Nebraska that he was at center ice ready for that.
And that's just a great look by number 22, Zach Roberts, who was able to just put that puck onto a rope, and man.
Not much Scott can really do about that.
So it's going to be over to Rogers now as they chip it out. Walsh trying to send it back the other way, but Bierenstraw caught it and played it right down, and he'll have it in the corner. Bierenstraw back behind the net, catching a body there by Meade.
That was a beautiful hit there. behind the net.
So it's going to be a headman pass up over to Davis this time. Davis curls back, lost it. So at center ice, it's going to be Corny. Got it over to Mead. Mead throws it on the backhand right to the glove of Scott, and a stoppage with 11:48 left to go.
You're just seeing these moments that Nebraska is still having. Continue like it's the same thing that we saw in the first period. They have possession of the puck, getting ready to go on a little charge, and they lose it. So bad bounce, or they just lose the puck completely, and it leads to another possible Kansas goal.
So the face-off won by Kansas. The shot airmailed there, so it's going to be the Huskers trying to get it back, but it's going to be Dusso with it at center ice. Back over to Van Heerden. Van Heerden cross ice over to Hearn. Hearn's going to curl back around. Van Heerden up to Nelson, and then Nelson's going to swing in. He's going to cut to the left, curls back around, and he's going to saucer it over to Hearn. Rips one from the point, unable to find the net there, and the Huskers trying to send it out off the rebound. So it's Dacus winning the race to the puck. He's going to get pinned against the boards, trying to back in it the other way, but it's going to be Hyberg getting pressured by Nelson, which forced a pass right to the tape of Hearn. He's going to get hauled down. And Nebraska getting away with one, so a little easy on the whistles tonight are the referees. No complaints here as it's Kansas up 7-0.
You'd much rather see them let them play than call everything that they see.
Yeah, exactly, as there's a shot missing the net there, held in there by Dugan. As it's going to be Nelson picking up the puck off the boards, finds it to Van Heerden. Van Heerden trying to get it up. Zadakis unable to poke it out. And then Nelson's going to pick it up, and he's going to fly down with speed. Nelson pressured off the puck, dropped back the other way, and the Huskers skating it out. As McGinnis cross ice, finding it to Dugan. Dugan walking in, fans on the shot. It looked like Hearn got a piece of it, and it'll find its way to Miles for a whistle with 10:21 left to go. 7-0 still our score.
McGinnis just had a beautiful pass there cross ice, and it just did not whiffed on the shot there. That was Dugan who whiffed on the shot. He had a good open shot there. Had a defenseman all over him, however, but just whiffed on it.
So one back to Datina. His shot high and wide. As Bullard send it out of the zone, but it's going to go right back in. Dumped back behind the net where Miles will slow things down, as it'll be Schubert picking it up. Schubert across to Bullard. Bullard playing it off the boards, finding it over to Nessa. Finds it to Siddons now. Siddons across the blue line, makes a nice move, dropped it over to Feeney. Now Nessa, and it's poked away there by Pate.
Three guys with an opportunity there for the Jayhawks, because none of them could get a good stick on it. Good job by the Nebraska defenders.
So a fancy move by Datina, but unable to get a shot off.
It's a dirty move there by Datina, right through the legs, and he almost got a good shot off. Miles was there, though. That was pretty.
And that's just a great job in the corner by Bullard. You know, obviously Nebraska has the height advantage, but he wasn't backing down, and he was able to get that puck out of the zone as Nessa with a shot up high on Scott, so we'll have to use the chest a little bit for that one. But a stoppage with 9:22 left to go in the second frame.
You were talking about it, Gabe. Not the bigger man in that situation in the corner ended up winning. Once again, you'd rather take the hard over hustle is what I always say.
So it's going to be that third line back out there for Kansas as the faceoff is won back over to Rogers, but you saw Medina just bolt right to the corner for that battle, and it's going to be Gerber walking it up. Finds it to Walsh. Blue line, wrister, unable to get on net. It looked like he was trying to find someone at the back door to tip it in.
A tripping call there, close.
As it's going to be Gerber now. Gerber again. He's going to curl around up at the hash marks before he tries to make a fancy move. It's poked away, and Kansas has to get back on side.
Nebraska still finishing their hits here.
But it's going to be stripped away by Gerber, and a saucer pass gets it out of the zone. So an icing called here with 8:41 left to go. So the physicality ramping up a little bit more this period.
You mentioned it earlier. It's going to keep ramping up into maybe pure frustration from Nebraska here. It's going to keep, if I'm Coach Andy, just keep stressing the fact that you cannot be the guy to retaliate, cannot be the guy to give in. You don't want anyone getting suspended for something stupid, something that doesn't need to be done at all. And you just want a clean game overall. So far, that's what we've gotten, except those two roughing penalties for the Jayhawks.
So off the draw, the Huskers with it as they try to wrap it around to Quevedo, but a great job by Zadakis to hold the line. Knocked down out of the air by Nelson. A backhand shot on net. Unable to fight for the rebound was Duso. And another shot from the point, and it's going to be covered up there by Scott. So again, Kansas starting to create flurries of chaos right in front of Scott.
Nebraska can get a full line change here. Yeah, you said it, Gabe. I mean, if that puck went into that net right there, that play was made by Zach Zadakis. He kept that puck in the zone barely. That puck was almost at the blue line. He just poked it right back in. Almost led to another goal for the Jayhawks.
So this face-off won by the Huskers. They try to drop it back over to Bierenstrup. As it's Bienkowski, cross ice, over to Jacobsma. Walked in by Davis. Unable to hang on to the puck. It's thrown to the far corner. Clover off an odd angle, and it's going to be sent over to Zadakis now, who's going to try to bank it off the glass to get it out, but Bienkowski holding the line. Bienkowski walks it in, poked away there as it's going to be Duso, who try to get it over to Nelson, and Nelson a foot race. First one of the puck, a nice move, still within, and he's going to be hit off, and the net comes off. And a stoppage here.
Looked like his back hit the post there. Popped right back up, though. He looks fine. It's almost like every time that Tyler Nelson gets the puck full speed, it's almost like every player on the opposing team, this being Nebraska, just kind of has the moment where their eyes go wide and they're just like, oh no. He's just so fast when he has it. He's just fast overall, but it is a different breed when he has that puck. And he was one move away from putting that in the back of the net.
So that first line for the Jayhawks getting some much-needed rest. A nice stick lift there by Meade slows down the breakout for the Huskers, as it was McGinnis throwing it in to the corner. He's going to be pressured by Hearn immediately. Hearn able to get it away, but Meade able to try and help boggle that one out. The puck finds its way over to Barker, and then Barker gets it up over to Carney on the right side. Carney feigning on the shot, got it into the zone, but the Huskers get it right back as it'll be McGinnis. Cross-ice pass intercepted by Kyle Meade as it's thrown in. So it's going to be banked around the other way. McGinnis gets it up over to Pate. Pate dropped it back over to Heiberg. Heiberg shoots one high over the net. And off the second chance opportunity, it's wrapped around. Barker fighting to get it out of the zone. Took a big hit there, and Carney able to chip it back in. So a great job by this fourth line for Kansas.
Barker held his Pate's stick a little bit there. Tried getting up, and he had no stick. It's kind of can't really play the game when you don't have a stick.
So glove down by Miles, left for Roberts, found it over to Hearn, got it up over to Carney. And then Carney's backhand pass gets it over to Barker, who got it to Nessa. Poked off the puck there, and it's going to be a foot race, and then Nessa's going to fly back in. Ready for the 2-on-1. Weber dropped it back to Tina, shoots, blocked up front, and it's going to be a rebound that finds Brett Siddons. Now he's going to turn on the Jets. Finds his way in the clear, shooting one, missing the net there. And it looks like it bounced its way back over to Scott. And a stoppage here with 6:12 left to go.
I don't know if it was just my point of view, Gabe, but on that breakaway that Nebraska just had, it looks like instead of passing it, if he just shot, he has a better angle than when he passed it. He had a much better, no one was in front of him. The Kansas defense was in between both. I mean, he was not in the way at all. Had a much better shot if he just shot it. Instead, it goes off the post. And we're still stuck at a 7-0 game.
So right off the draw, it was tied up, but Kansas ends up coming out with it, as it's going to be Schubert. He was getting pressured a little bit, so he'll throw it to the corner, so it'll be picked up by Feeney. Feeney now trying to redirect it, and the Huskers take it away as it's Quevedo. Quevedo pressured off by Van Heerden. That was a great poke check, and McRae takes a hit there from Feeney. Up front to Quevedo, shot and a save made by Miles.
Once again, Miles is there. Just had a great play by Van Heering, just nice little poke check, and then that was a great hit. Just found the way. They found a way to get to Miles, and Miles just right in between the legs. Tried going 5-hole on him. He just said no.
So 5:46 left to go. 7-0 our score. The shots are coming, but so are the saves in this period. As both teams getting some really good looks, but the goaltenders doing phenomenal in the second period.
Even though Scott allowed that goal for the Cornhuskers, other than that, he's been pretty good saving these shots. See if Kansas can get a good little shot here.
There was an odd man rush by the Jayhawks there. Fantoni thought he had one of his wingers with him, so he dropped it on that left side, but it just left it right for Nebraska to pick it up as it's loose in the crease, and that comes off in a stoppage here. And then Fantoni getting into a shoving match here. And before a crowd can get drawn, you see Miles coming up and separating Fantoni.
Veteran presence there once again, telling him not to get involved. It's just a great job. It's good coaching, too. I bet Coach Andy told Miles, make sure if any guys are in front of your net, pull them away. Because Nebraska, that's how Nebraska is wins these games. They get into your head. Once the team's in your head, it's very hard to get them out.
Exactly, and that was a great job, especially by Travis Breyer. I don't know if you saw that, Mike, but he kind of got pushed after the whistle, and he sort of just ignored it, and that's what Kansas is going to have to do, especially with frustration and physicality ramping up on the Nebraska end of things.
Absolutely. Silence and ignorance is sometimes the best revenge.
So a battle in the corner there. And a penalty is going to be called here on Nebraska. You saw in that battle, it looked like Fantoni kind of got popped up high.
You're exactly right, Gabe. That's not what you need if you're Nebraska right now. It's the complete opposite. Already down by a good amount. You don't need to have Kansas with an extra man on the ice here.
So it's going to be that power play that's just been nothing but phenomenal. They're going to have all forwards out there.
Putting the pressure on here. See what Scott can do.
So they're going to have Siddons and Feeney lined up at the defense position for this. But that Kansas team's ready to go to work as it's over to Feeney. Feeney finds it to Nelson. As they have an umbrella setup going there. As it's going to be Siddons finding it back over to Nelson. Nelson waiting to Siddons, trying to pass it cross ice. It's intercepted there by the Huskers, but a great job by Nelson to make sure it doesn't come all the way back. He'll still draw it back over to Siddons. Siddons now, he's going to drop it back to Nelson. Nelson walking it in, and offsides on Kansas. Looked like they were just about an inch or so ahead.
Did not look like Nessa was completely onside there. Nebraska getting some fresh bodies on the ice now. They much needed ones. 1:20 left on the power play here.
So again, 4:19 left to go here, period number 2. About 1:20 left on the penalty handed out to Cubsma, which was for roughing.
All penalties this game have been for roughing after the play. Just stuff during the play, extracurricular stuff that the referees are seeing. I'm liking that that's the only penalty that they've called so far. They've really let it play out.
So Feeney trying to pass it over to Siddons, and the Huskers able to squeak that one out of the zone. So Kansas not having much success to start off the power play. They're getting a lot of movement in, but maybe a little too much. Either way, it's going to be Siddons carrying it up on the left side. He's going to drop it over to Nelson. Nelson swings in at the circle under the goal line. He's going to walk his way around before passing it back over to Feeney. Feeney to Duso. Shoots through traffic, tipped up front, and Nessa almost poking that one home on the rebound. So Kansas getting a partial change. Gerber and Nessa will trade places, but it's going to be Nelson walking it in. He's going to try to cut through all the Nebraska defenders, but instead will button hook at the hash marks for curling back around the other way. Nelson, cross ice, unable to find it to Siddons. And the Huskers will try to do a little bit of a short-handed rush here. But a nice poke check there by Feeney. Feeney to Duso. Took a weird bounce, so Miles will have to push it back over to him.
Power play is now over. Great job by the penalty kill unit for the Cornhuskers. And almost immediately Kansas had a man right there. They had Lance Medina was wide open, just to pass a little too in front.
So Dugan struggling to get to that puck. It's going to be passed up over to, I believe that was Bonfias, and the Jayhawks wrap it around. Gerber trying to get a stick on it, but it's going to be chipped back in. Roberts to pick it up for Kansas. Roberts around the other way, finding it over to Walsh. Walsh having to quickly push it up and out for the Huskers. Chip it back in the other way as it's thrown to the corner. It's going to be Roberts losing control of it. The Huskers get it back to Tina right up front. Tipped on the back door, and Weber fans on it. That's as wide open as it gets, but it's finally tipped up front. And the goose egg is broken as it is now 7-1.
Right before that goal, Gabe, they had a perfect opportunity for another one. They just had two really good opportunities back-to-back there. Once that first one doesn't go in, the second one's bound to go in. Can't really do much there for your Miles. It looked like that puck was tipped going in. 7-1 game now.
So 7-1 our score, 2:10 left to go. And Kansas really wanting to forget about that one quick as they still have a significant lead into this one.
Short-term memory, like you said earlier, Gabe.
Fanning on the pass there was number 17, Zach Brown. Lost control, and it's going to be sent back up and out. Redirecting it was Hearn, getting it across over to Bullard. Bullard chipping it off the boards, finding it over to Feeney, and then Feeney will wrap it around to the far corner. Didn't have enough heat on it to get to Siddons, but either way, it's going to be over to Adomski. Dropped it back to Pate, then right back over to Bullard it goes, and he'll dump it into the far corner. 1:35 left to go, period number 2. Kansas leading this one 7-1. So Hearn cranking it in, unable to tip it on net was Siddons, but Hearn doing a great job holding the line, walks in, shoots, missing the net there, and it's going to be an odd man rush for the Huskers, but luckily do so coming in fresh off of a line change, and a great job there by Bullard. A phenomenal defensive play broke that one up. A shot unable to get on net, but Pate picking it up there along the boards for the rebound, and do so winning that stick battle, but it goes right to McRae. Shot tipped up front, kicked away by Miles, and Kansas able to get it out of the zone. And it's going to be a race for the puck, and it's going to be Rogers getting it right there. Rogers picked it up, pressured by Siddons in the corner. He's going to curl around before safely passing it over to McGinnis. McGinnis trying to clear it out, held in by Zadakis, and it's going to be a call to hand pass, and a questionable one at that.
You're really seeing Nebraska now with so many more opportunities than they had in that first period. It's something that the coaches definitely wanted more out of their players. Kansas had a great chance there, just a hand pass call.
So the face-off coming right outside the Nebraska zone. Kansas winning it back over to Duso, who quickly got it to Schubert. Schubert back over to Roberts. To Zadakis. All three Zachs on the Kansas team out on the ice right now. Zadakis to Nelson. Nelson makes a move, shot right to the glove of Scott, and again, boggled it a little bit before he was able to get his hand on top of it.
We've seen it constantly. He hasn't been able to get those shots clearly and cleanly. Around 30 seconds left in this period. See if Kansas can get a couple more shots on net. I mean, you never know. One of those, he could bobble another one and land right in front of a Kansas player, and then that's another goal.
So immediately off the draw, it goes right back over to Scott, and another stoppage this time with 25 seconds left. So off the draw, looked like Kansas had wanted but couldn't quite get a clean pass off, so it's going to be time for about one last rush for the Huskers as it's Weber to Tina, took a bounce off his skate, and Schubert wrapped it around. It's going to be held in by Jakubsma, fanning on that, and it's going to be poked up over to Bienkowski as Schubert trying to get it up and out. Got it out of the zone at least 3 seconds left to go, thrown to the corner, and that'll do things for period number 2 as Kansas still with a 6-goal lead as it's 7-1 after 2. We'll be back in just a little bit for the second intermission interview and then the final 20. Again, Gabe Daniel alongside Mike Hoblick. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back for period number 3. Gabe Daniel alongside Mike Hoblet from the John Breslow Hockey Center here in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's Kansas 7, the Huskers 1. As right off the draw, Nelson dropping it back over to Zadakis, trying to poke it home, and it's going to be a loose right there, chopping it away. And a stoppage here with 19:47 left to go.
That was almost an extremely fast goal. Tyler Nelson wasted no time. He immediately, that was impressive. Just a fact, I mean, I mentioned it probably 6 times this game already. There's nobody that's even close to being as fast as Nelson on the ice.
Exactly.
He weaved through the entire defense on that play right there. He almost scored 6 seconds in.
So another shot, just missing the net there. A great job by Zadakis lifting the stick to keep it in, and Datina makes a nice move around Hearn. And Datina unable to get around Roberts as Miles even reached out to poke that away, but it's going to be Weber picking it up. Dropped it to Datina in the slot. Tipped up front right to the glove of Miles, and man, that was a great job tracking that one because it looked like it got deflected right up front by number 8, Jack Dugan.
Yeah, he almost redirected that right through Mitch Miles' 5-hole. It was actually really close. You and I had almost the perfect angle on that, actually. It was just a great save, great recognition by Miles there.
So the puck sent all the way back over to Bonthias. Bonthias, headman, knocked away by Zadakis, right to Datina, and back to Bonthias, and the Huskers will try this again. So again, Zadakis just getting his nose in there, and he's able to take it away. He's going to walk in with speed, tries a shot, tipped up. Might have gone a piece of Scott, but either way, Dusso is going to throw it right back on net. Rogers will wrap it around. Dusso chopping it in over to Nelson. Now Nelson from the deep slot, working his way in. Under the goal line now. Now along the boards, Zadakis, backhand saucer pass, kicked up, and it goes right over to Breyer, who couldn't get full control, so it's going to be Dugan again. His shot, poked to the corner by Miles.
Good job by Miles poking that away. Get it out of the area. Get it away from the crease. Don't want anything weird happening.
As Nelson, a nice saucer pass to Zadakis. Zadakis throwing one over the net there. Breyer, nice job holding the line. Try to drag it around. Nessa even holding it in to help him out. Wrapped around over to Quevedo. Quevedo met there by Siddons in the corner, and he's going to get called for, I believe, either a hook or a hold. So probably one of the softer calls we've seen this evening.
Yeah, we and I talked about at the end of that second period. We haven't seen any calls really this entire game, and then that one wasn't blatant, but enough for the referees to call it.
So the Huskers get to see their power play unit out there for the first time, coming at 18:07 as Siddons will take a seat for a hooking penalty.
Let's see how the Jayhawks penalty kill unit is on their first time on the ice here with one man down. You know, we saw the 4-on-4 earlier. This is the first time they're having a man down here.
So it's a cross-ice pass over to Bienkowski. His shot just sailing wide, and it's going to be back over to Datina. Datina from the blue line, cross over to Bienkowski, back over to Heiberg. Heiberg walks it up, passing it to the blue line from the hash marks, cross over to Datina. Datina now dropping it back. Bienkowski shoot, tipped up front, just sailing through the crease. As it's Datina again, he tried a shot right on the doorstep. Miles makes the save there, and Carney trying to get it out of the zone. Cross ice over to, I believe that was Dugan, under the goal line now to Weber. Weber, he's going to curl around in the left corner, trying to swat it away.
Jayhawks need to get the puck out of the zone here.
As it's Datina again, back to the point. Bienkowski, he's going to try to walk it, trying to backhand pass through the deep slot, and it's going to be skated up and away by Breyer, who's just going to chop it down, and that'll saw even more time off. So Jayhawks on the penalty kill, turned over to Fantoni. Fantoni able to throw it to the other corner, doing really good, chewing this penalty kill down.
That's exactly what you need.
Be Heiberg skating it in. Heiberg on the right side, under the goal line, trying to coast around. poked off the puck there, and it's going to be Roberts. He's going to wrap it around the boards, and it's going to come all the way back. No icing as the Jayhawks are still on the penalty kill. About 15 seconds left, and then Brett Siddons will be able to leave. Drop pass over to Bontheus, intercepted by Zadakis, and Zadakis will just chop it in. And that'll do it for the Nebraska power play. So barely got any looks there as Kansas was just able to clear it out and away. Now Duso, fresh off the bench, able to poke it away, try to saucer pass over to Zadakis. Had a little too much mustard on it, and it's going to be McCray leaving it for McGinnis. McGinnis back to McCray. He's going to walk it in. McCray tipped away, and it'll be Roberts trying to get it out. A nice backhand. Got it out of the zone, and it's going to find its way over to Nelson. So Nelson drawing back. He'll send it over to Hearn. Hearn to Duso. Duso chipped it back the other way. It's just going to be Duso backhanding it into the zone. Pate unable to settle down a bouncing puck. And Pate will curl around in his own zone before heading through center. Across the blue line on the right side. Pate in the corner, pressured by Schubert. And it's going to be poked away now. Schubert off the boards, trying to get it over to Nelson, but the Huskers send it right back in as it's Davis trying to send it right to the doorstep, spinning around. Shot was blocked, so it finds its way to Duso, who's trying to clear it all the way out. So Davis trying to pass it right on net. Miles poked it away, and now it's going to be Nelson in. Behind his own net, he's going to make a nice move, and he'll finally be able to fly down out of the zone. On the right side, Nelson trying to cut around, wrap around shot. It was on the goal line, and Liam Scott able to reach around behind him and stop it from being a 7-goal game.
That puck sat right in the middle of the crease, so close to the goal line for maybe a second. Tyler Nelson just created another great opportunity with his speed once again. Honestly, Gabe, that Nebraska power play, they had that perfect opportunity. That, like you mentioned, that puck sailed right in the middle of the crease, and no one was there to finish it off.
So right off the face-off, the Jayhawks have it. Medina getting roughed around in the corner, and it was almost a nice setup there for Fantoni, just right on the doorstep there. As it's number 46, Adamski having to cut back around to get the Huskers back on side. So now McCray has it. He tries a shot that was easily blocked up front there by Breyer. The headman pass almost connected with Gerber, but right there to break that up was Jacobsma, and the Huskers chip it into the corner. Now Medina with it. Medina trying to loft that puck up into the air to get it out. And it's going to be turned over right up front. Miles holding his ground to kick that one away, and Medina able to dodge a hit. Lost control of the puck, though, as it's going to be stripped away. Pass up front. It's going to be poked over to Gerber, and Gerber's going to try to wheel down. Gerber tries a shot through a couple of defenders, and a save made by Scott.
We've seen him multiple times this game, Gabe. Like all 3 periods, Nebraska's finding opportunities. They're getting passes in areas they feel like there would be a guy there to finish the puck off and maybe put it in the net. Has not happened yet. Because that one goal that they have was off of a nice redirect right in front of Miles. They just haven't had the passes that they've needed. There hasn't been guys there.
So it's going to be wrapped around over to Datina. Headman pass up over to Dugan. And Dugan's going to have to go one-on-one with Hearn, and then there's a great job there. He just barreled through both Hearn and Walsh. This is going to be Weber trying to drive it in, missing the net by a mile there. And Datina at the hash marks trying to keep it in. As this could be Dugan again, shoots one, missing the net off the rebound. The Jayhawks doing a great job with the stick lift to prevent that. Cleared but not out, as it was Rogers trying to dump it back in. Kansas finally getting it out this time. Meade, a nice stick lift there on Bontheus. Gets it over to Datina, and it's going to be chopped in. Carney on the puck now for the Jayhawks. It's going to be wrapped around over to Meade. Meade trying to get it out. As it's right back over to Datina. Datina chops it into the corner. So it's going to be Hearn for Kansas. Try to headman pass up to Zadakis, bounces right back, and it's going to be headman pass intended for Meade, who was just ready to tip it in to finish the line change. So a shot missing the net again. It'll wrap around the boards and go out, so the Huskers have to regroup. Instead, they'll try to just dump it back in. About 12-15 left to go. 7-1 still our score, and Schubert getting tripped up. The referee looked right at it, but play will continue.
Let that one go. Looks like the referees are just back to no whistle here, just letting it play.
So it's wrapped around over to Roberts. But it's going to be McGinnis holding it in for the Huskers, but a nice saucer pass knocked down out of the air by Feeney. As Kansas again struggling to get it out.
Lot of zone time here.
As it's going to be slapped over to Feeney. Feeney a little behind the puck, so couldn't quite get it. As it's going to be sent back up, intended for McGinnis, but it goes right to the tape of Roberts, and Feeney trying to go in and help out. Dumped back in, Miles played it aside, as it's going to be Roberts around his own net, up over to Nessa. Nessa trying to catch a headman pass over to Siddons, and it'll be deflected into the Kansas bench, and a stoppage with 11:19 left to go.
Last couple minutes, Gabe, there's been almost no break for the Kansas Jayhawks. Cornhuskers are really putting a lot of pressure right now on their defensive side. Kansas needs to get some zone time here, just keep it neutral ice.
So center ice draw with 11:19 left to go. Again, Kansas up 7-1. A much quieter third period as we're reaching about the halfway point. Again, these two teams will be back in action tomorrow at about 3:30.
See how Nebraska would come out in that game. See if they're more fired up than they were tonight. And Kansas has to keep the same energy throughout the rest of this game and tomorrow, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of that just goes with the magic of back-to-backs, especially in hockey, where one night a game can be a boat race and then the next it'll be really close or just something completely different.
We saw it. Our last games, Gabe, we saw that. The 4-1 victory on the Friday night, the Hockey Fights Cancer night, and then the next day Washington University St. Louis just came out and they got the best of the Kansas Jayhawks 6-0.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, that's just, if Kansas does hang on to this one, barring anything crazy happening from the Nebraska side, but, kind of got to celebrate it tonight, enjoy it, and then just move on to the next one. But either way, there's still quite a bit of game left. As it's McCray skating it in for the Huskers. He's going to back in it into the corner, and it's going to be Dusso on it for Kansas. The team captain wearing number 11 took the hit and made a nice pass up over to Nelson, who found it to Zadakis. Zadakis draws it back, shoots it, kicked away there by Scott. And it's going to be Adamski back over to Bonthias. And held in by Zadakis again. Threw it to the corner, and racing after is going to be number 11, Caleb Dusso. Play goes back behind the Nebraska net, so the Huskers will get it out. But it's going to go right to the tape of Cole Walsh, so Kansas easily able to regroup. The Huskers getting a partial change going. Walsh dumping it in, and Kansas will get a change as well. It's going to be Rogers with it. A headman pass up over to, I believe that was Wagner, left it for Bierenstraw. A shot right to the mask of Miles, and a stoppage. This time with 9:40 left to go.
You weren't lying when you said much slower pace. We haven't had a goal yet. It hasn't been an incredibly slow-paced period, but there's just a lot of shots, just no goals yet. It's wild to think we had 6 goals in the first period and then 2 last period and haven't had a single one yet. After that first period, I thought we were going to see a lot more high-scoring game than this, and this is even considered very high-scoring.
Now another shot blocked by Medina, and man, you could hear how that one went off the shin pad.
Doesn't look like he was very fazed by that. Another face-off here. Kansas needs to get it out of the zone.
And then feigning on the one-time shot there was Pate. Fantoni trying to connect to Gerber with the headman pass, but it'll be picked up by Medina. Medina shoots one, boggled there by Scott once again, and a stoppage with 9:18.
We've seen that multiple times throughout this entire game since Scott's been put in the game. He just cannot field these shots cleanly at all. Overall, though, he has, after those first couple goals that he's let in, he's settled in a good amount for sure.
So tied up off the face-off, the Huskers come up with it as it's going to be Jacobsmo with it. Held in almost by Hearn as it just skipped right over his stick. As it's going to be over to Fantoni. Fantoni walking it in, shooting one right to the chest of Scott. And he's just going to do the safe thing and hang on for another whistle.
No bobble there. Like I said just a second ago, he's definitely settling in. I mean, we saw a couple of those first shots when he got in. Just easy shots for the Jayhawks, just went right behind him.
So it's going to be Jacobsma with it. Over. Lost control. Medina tried a shot, but that one just went up high and out of play. So 7 seconds later, we get another stoppage. Again, 7-1 our score. These two teams will be back at it tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 p.m.
We talked about it earlier, Gabe, the importance of this game, because Kansas is currently second in the conference in Silver Central. And they need to be top 2 to make the conference tournament, which is something they haven't done in a couple of years.
As it's going to be walked in by Heiberg, makes a nice move, shoots. And it's Miles making a save. Everyone.
How did Mitch Miles save that puck?
So it looked like the people on the glass banging the boards like he scored, but Miles standing tall making an incredible save.
That was a beautiful move there on the shot. I mean, I don't know how Miles saved that. That was absolutely insane. I don't know. That's one of his best saves of the game. That's one of the best saves I've seen him make, too, just in general. That was impressive.
So it's going to be a battle along the boards. Heiberg coming up with it. Is this going to be dropped back to Bienkowski? A shot and another save made by Miles.
He was ready for that one. He brought his head right before the puck even arrived there for the shot. Mitch Miles' head was already there.
So 8:23, period number 3. Again, Kansas 7, Nebraska 1. It's just wrapped around. Schubert trying to get the headman pass. It's going to go the length. A foot race for it as Bienkowski will play it over to McGinnis. As it's banked off the boards, Heiberg with it still. He's going to wrap it around the boards. Miles weaving it behind the net for Schubert to play it. Schubert to Roberts. Back to Schubert once more. This time over to Nessa. Nessa, Roberts. Back to Nessa. Up on the left side, he's going to walk it in and lost control there.
Great job by Schubert keeping that puck in the zone right there.
So Breyer able to shake off a big hit. The puck's sent out. On it is Schubert. Schubert behind his own net. He's going to play it to the other corner. Intending it for Breyer, but it looks like McRae was going to get there first as it's going to be over to Adamski. Over to Rogers. Shot and tipped up front, not on net, and Schubert will try to get it around. Now Adamski laid an unnecessary hit on Schubert. And you saw a little bit of a stick tap towards the referee as they're just letting this one go.
You're going to see that probably in the last 7 minutes here, Gabe. Just some hits that probably going to be a little questionable, but what both teams have to remember is that there's another game tomorrow. This is not it.
As it's going to be Bullard now. He's just going to walk it up. He's going to carry it into the zone, throwing it right to the glove of Scott in a stoppage with 6:43 left to go.
Lost stoppages here in the last 5 minutes or so. See if Kansas can get a good shot off the face-off here. Maybe like the first goal of the game we saw.
So right there, you saw a shot by Duso. Shouldered away there by Scott, but great job there by Zadakis. Trying to keep it in. Either way, it's going to be Weber walking it in for the Huskers. A battle along the boards there as it's going to wrap around over to Pate. Now Pate getting pressured off the puck there. It looks like Breyer got it away. Now Nelson's going to pick it up. Now Nelson makes a nice move, shooting one, and a save made by Scott. It was loose, and that went in. And that is the third goal of the game for number 16, Tyler Nelson. A hat trick on the road, and it makes it 8-1.
His speed again, Gabe. It's just every time he touches the puck, we can't say enough about him. I mean, he had He had the save there. It just went right through.
So stoppage right off the face-off. The referee going over to talk to the scorers table.
Well, he just skated right through everybody again. Yeah, and now you really see the frustration.
I think they were trying to signal that it was tipped, but either way.
It's going to move back into the Nebraska-Lincoln zone. Yeah, that's what they're arguing right now is that the pass. I believe that's what they're arguing is that the pass was tipped. Or a hand pass.
You know, it's a 7-goal game. I don't think arguing where the face-off is should be the concern right now, but either way, it looks like it'll be in the Nebraska zone to the left of Liam Scott.
Doesn't look like the argument was very influential there.
So 6:03 left to go, 8-1 our score thanks to Tyler Nelson who had the hat trick goal as it's Cole Walsh holding the line over to Medina. Medina throwing one on net, kicked away there, and it's going to be Gerber now. As it's going to be Bierenstraw for the Huskers. Throws it in, not on net, as it just hit the glass. As it's going to be Van Heerden now, back under the goal line, battling for it. It's going to go to Walsh, and Walsh is going to try to get it up and out of the zone. And there's a nice hit there by Fantoni. Now Medina off the boards, finds it over to Gerber. Now Gerber gets upended, caught up high, and that'll get a crowd going.
Oh, here we go, Gabe, here we go.
And this is exactly what Kansas did not need, as Lance Medina trying to help out Jack Gerber in the corner.
Yeah, exactly what
the
you
fireworks
do not
that
need.
Nebraska wanted, they've been out of this game, and here comes everyone. And it looks like Sidden's getting into it with Clover. That's going to be the pushing and shoving. Then Lance Medina comes to the third man in and throwing the haymakers there.
Refs aren't stopping it. They're letting this go.
And then you see Caden Davis trying to charge in. Not sure what Davis was going to do.
I'm not sure, really. Yeah, down 8-1.
But either way, very unnecessary by both teams, and I think this is exactly what Nebraska wants. They've been out of this game since the first period ended, and I think their goal for this third period was to take Kansas with them.
Nebraska fans are happy. They're probably happy that they just saw fireworks for once during this game.
So couldn't tell who got involved. It looked like a little bit of everyone, so I guess we'll find out soon enough. But I'm assuming Gerber and Medina are going to be done for the night.
Hopefully that's it.
Which hopefully if they get Gerber and Medina, hopefully they get them for the unnecessary hits that led up to that. You know, I'm all for the physicality in hockey, but leading with your hands and doing that kind of stuff is just uncalled for.
It was a high hit. Especially this late in the game, you could tell that was high for a reason. He made sure to get him up by the head and the shoulders area 100% on purpose.
So might as well take a seat and get comfortable. It's going to take a minute to sort this one out. As Caleb Dusso waiting to talk to the officials. As Sean Rogers for the Huskers. Team captains of each team. And then you see Reed Fuller ready to talk. And then Kansas coaches just staying calm back behind their bench. It looked like Medina, Gerber, and Van Heerden all got involved with that as well. I mean,
I'm not surprised that happened in the slightest. I was waiting for it. You know, Nebraska is no stranger to penalties and penalty minutes. We talked about that before the game, and finally that boils over.
We wait to see what decisions are going to be made. You see Mitch Miles down on the other end just skating in circles. There hasn't been much more for him to do tonight. I mean, the defensive game by Kansas has been phenomenal.
Yeah, the only goal that Nebraska has had was that one redirect that they had. It was a nice goal by them. Mitch Miles couldn't do much about it, but you're right. Other than that, I mean, absolutely nothing.
So 8-1 our score, about 5:16 left to go here in the third period as it's taken longer to sort this one out. As I'll see if I can go back onto the feed we get here. I know I can't play the replay for you guys watching back home, but I'll see if I can at least break down what happened.
We can give you a full understanding of who exactly might end up in the box or completely gone for the rest of the game.
So what happened was Medina got a pass up to Gerber, and as Gerber entered the zone, he caught a hit up high by, I believe that was Bienkowski, and the puck had gone to the corner where I believe Medina had tried to pick it up, and then as Medina was trying to get up, he was getting pushed, and I think Gerber flew into the corner to sort of retaliate for the hit he had just took, and then so
spiraled.
Gerber would probably most likely get a third man in for this, if I'm understanding right.
Looks like the referees are talking to the coaches now, still trying to figure out who exactly. Miss Miles is just skating circles here.
Yeah, so it started out with, I believe, Bienkowski making that open ice hit on Gerber, and then Medina was just getting pinned into the corner.
I think he had enough. Medina's been getting hit a little bit late, and after that high hit, as they are playing Why Can't We Be Friends here.
So yeah, in the corner, if I see it correctly, it looks like it's number 22 that jumped in to help out his teammate. So, and then that's where everyone else got involved, because you saw Van Heerden and Siddons then skate in to try and, calm everything down. But either way, it looks like we have some decisions made.
It does.
So we'll finally line back up. So honestly, if I'm Kansas, I don't want to have Siddons, Medina, or anything like that back out there just to close out this game. But it's looking like Siddons got a 5-minute penalty on the board here inside the John Breslow Hockey Center.
Is that the only penalty that was handed out?
So
interesting.
So a 5-minute power play handed out to the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Basically, the rest of the game will be on a power play. Another save.
So Miles just doing what he does best, using the glove there to stop that one.
As Master of Puppets by Metallica is being played throughout the arena now.
Because there was a shot tipped up front, and then Miles jumping on top of that one again.
3 saves in 29 seconds. See how many more shots in a row Nebraska will get. You do not want anything even close to extracurricular happening here.
So another face-off win by the Huskers. A shot from traffic kicked away by Miles, and it's going to be Duso. He's able to just dump it down, and I think that's what Kansas is going to try to do. They're going to try to, chew out the clock. So 4:29 left to go. As the Huskers just try to mosey this one in. Datina trying to get it over to Weber. Weber back to Datina. Now Datina, he's going to walk it down to the hash marks. Pass under the goal line, tipped up front. And it's going to be stolen there by Nelson. Now Nelson trying to make a fancy move around Bienkowski, but had it poked away. Now it's going to be Heiberg skating it up. Heiberg up on the right side. He's just going to drop it back over to Weber. It's going to be a turnover there. Now it's going to be Duso across over to Nelson. It's just going to be tipped into the zone, and Bontheus is going to be on it. So McCray left it for Bontheus. Bontheus skating it up. 3:40 left to go. 8-1 score. This is going to be number 84 for the Huskers. He's going to draw back. sending it under the goal line, as it's going to be over to number 84, to McGinnis, wrapping it around. And it's going to be Duso. A headman pass up over to Nelson, and a diving poke there by number 84. And that's going to be the highlight of his night, as it's going to be wrapped around over to Bontheus, and a penalty called here.
I'm incredibly surprised that they call that a penalty.
So 3:01 left to go here, period number 3, as we get a penalty here. And I think it's going to be on Tyler Nelson. No. Actually, yeah, it will be on Nelson. So
Best part about this game is that we mentioned it earlier. There's another game tomorrow. This is not like this is the last time these two teams are going to be seeing each other. Tomorrow should be another fun one.
As Mr. Brightside starts to play here, I can only imagine what will be chanted towards us from the students that are to our right. As it's going to be over to Datina, a one-time shot by Bienkowski going over the net there. As it's Heiberg to Datina. Datina with a shot there, unable to get it quite on net. It's going to be a net front battle. Schubert's got to be a little bit careful there.
It's very physical in front.
And they score. So just right there on the doorstep, a power play goal for the Huskers as it's 8-2. So a nice snipe right there. It cuts the lead down to 6.
It almost looked like, I believe that was Weber who pointed at Mitch Miles in front of the net there after he scores that goal. It was either at Zach Schubert or it was at Miles after that goal. Looked like he either pointed at him. Not sure what that was. So they're also asking, I think they're discussing if they're going to keep Tyler Nelson in the box. Almost immediately after Weber scored, he pointed at Tyler, Tyler was about to come out of the box, and they pointed and said, no, keep him in. I'm wondering if that's what the discussion is. As the goal horn is a little bit late.
I think the scratches that are running audio over there just wanted to push it again.
Why not, right?
So a lot of discussions with the referees here late into the third period.
It looks like Nelson is going to go back in the box. That's the intention. He's sitting on the outside of the bench here. That's where Early looks. Or is he coming back out?
I think at this point you know as much as I do, Mike.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're going to put Luke Nessa's going to go in the box. Yeah, Nebraska fans don't like that. No,
okay.
Now Nelson's going back in.
Okay, so it'll still be 5-on-3.
Wait a minute.
I think the Nebraska broadcasters next to us have just as much of an idea of what's going on as we are.
Should it just be still be a 5-on-4 because they scored? The fighting power play is still there. I'm not sure what's going on.
You know, it might have been a double minor that Nelson had been assessed. I mean, that would be like the only reason where he wouldn't have left the box.
Interesting.
But either way, man, this game has been just nothing short of interesting. But Datina over to Weber under the goal line as Nebraska just cycling, looking to see what they can do. And puck was loose. Bienkowski rips one from the point, kept out by Miles. And the Huskers still with it. Bienkowski, another drive and a save made by Miles. And a minute 41 left to go. We get a stoppage.
Zach Roberts hit that puck out there like it was a baseball when that puck hung in the air right in front of Miles. That was impressive. The hand-eye coordination that it takes to play this game is unbelievable. And then Miles, of course, with that beautiful save. Kansas probably just wants to keep clearing this puck. Just get on to tomorrow. So now there is definitely 2 people in the box right now for the Jayhawks.
So the puck,
that's what you need.
Yeah, slips out of the zone. So number 84 on it. It's going to be over to McGinnis. Now McGinnis curling around, dropping it back over to number 84. He's going to try to rip one through traffic. It's going to ride the boards around, as it's going to be Bonthias. Cross ice to McGinnis, feigning on the shot. Got down on one knee, almost like it was Steven Stamkos trying to take a one-timer there. As it's going to be Bonthias trying to rip one through traffic. Saw an opening at the left corner. Nothing to go there. Now Bonthias waits, shoots, and he scores, and that was a great job screening. And it is now 8-3.
Hopefully Mitch Miles realizes that all these goals are just good screens, and the 5-on-3, you can't really do much. He's being taunted right back there by a couple people behind the glass.
I mean, hey,
less than a minute left in this game.
I thought Miles played a phenomenal game.
He did.
And, it's
every Jayhawk that touched the ice tonight played a great game.
And it's just the 5-on-3 unit that just needs work. And there's a nice stick check there by Nessa, as Wagner's twig almost went into the crowd if the netting wasn't there. And there's another save made by Miles, this time with 44.3 seconds left to go.
I wonder when we see the shot count after this game, how many it'll be for each side.
So right off the draw, Kansas will dump it down, about 35 seconds left to go. Bonthias picks it up, back behind his own net. He'll nod his head for his teammates to skate it up, as it's going to be Bierenstraw with it. Bierenstraw to Rogers. Rogers trying to get it over to Wagner. Wagner upended by Nessa. And there's a nice little double team hit there by Breyer and Nessa. The puck will wrap around. That's just going to be Gerber fresh out of the box trying to find it over to Nessa. About 3 seconds left to go. The puck will go right over to Gerber. And that's going to end game one. You can rock chalk this one up as the Jayhawks take game one of the weekend series 8-3. A phenomenal performance by that third line and Tyler Nelson.
Just a great game overall.
Absolutely, as we'll be back in action tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 when these two teams will go at it again.
That'll be a fun one game.
Because again, this was a much-needed win for Kansas, especially with the monstrous over Central standings. As you'll see a couple of the Jayhawks going around shaking hands, and I think that's just one of the beauties of hockey. You know, you can rough around and swing a couple at each other, and at the end of the day, you're going to want to shake their hands more than ever.
Game's about respect more than anything else. That's why you love to see it.
And then for those interested, be sure to check our social media platforms at Jayhawk Hockey on either Twitter or Instagram, as we'll have Lindsey Ryan with the post-game interview posted on there. But we'll go ahead and wrap things up here inside the John Breslow Hockey Center in Lincoln, Nebraska. Again, Kansas taking this one 8-3. I'm Gabe Daniel. Alongside me has been Mike Hobwick, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow afternoon. Thank you.